Hi, my name is Yocheved, but you probably know me as Moses' mommy. Last Sunday we talked about Joseph, who followed the Lord no matter what bad circumstance he found himself in. His brothers had betrayed him, but even after he had been sold into slavery and imprisoned, Joseph rose to the occasion and became second in command of Egypt. Following God's commands, he was able to save the world from a horrible famine, and he was able to save his family as well, forgiving his brothers for the awful things they had done to him and moving them to safety in Goshen, right outside of Egypt. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, many years after my family had moved to Goshen. The Egyptians didn't remember Joseph or what he had done for the people, and Pharaoh fears the growing number of God's people, the Israelites. He enslaved us. We had to bake bricks in the hot sun day after day. But when that didn't break our spirit, he tried to get rid of us, beginning with the baby boys by having them thrown into the Nile River. But the Hebrew midwives, they're like nurses, didn't obey Pharaoh to protect as many babies as they could. They were so brave. I tried to be brave too, just like the midwives. I hid my son Moses for as long as I could. But babies cry and don't like to keep still, and when I could no longer keep him hidden, my bright daughter Miriam helped me prepare a tiny ark for him, just like the one Noah built but for a baby, a refuge to save my little one.
I was as brave as I could be. I hid in the reeds along the river and watched as my baby brother floated in his basket. I wanted to see what would happen, and I was praying he would be safe. You cannot imagine how surprised I was to see the princess, Pharaoh's daughter, find baby Moses. God touched her heart, and I just knew everything would work out one day.
I grew up in the palace, but I was able to be raised as a baby by my mother and sister. I knew I was an Israelite, and just blessed by the Lord to live in this luxury. As I got older, my heart began breaking as I witnessed my fellow Israelites being treated horribly by the Egyptians.
One day, I took justice into my own hands. I don't know if it was the right thing to do or not, but I had to defend my Israelite brother. When Pharaoh found out what I had done, he was angry. I fled to Midian, but that was definitely not the end. In fact, it's where God's greatest plan begins to unfold. In Midian, I met my wife and had my first son. From fear to hope, from despair to joy, God placed me in Midian for his purposes, and what happens next changed my life and the lives of the Hebrew people forever.
This is just the beginning of Moses' incredible journey with the Almighty. Join us next week as we discover what happens next on this epic Bible journey.